People who have had COVID-19 can get long COVID, even if they had no symptoms or only mild symptoms during the infection. You're more likely to get long COVID if you had to go to the hospital because of COVID-19. If you did not get the COVID vaccine, if you have a disability, or if you have a long-term health condition.
Hello everyone, I'm Sign1News anchor Gator Killings. Here's a quick look at the top trending stories making headlines today. If you post an interesting comment about this update, we may add it at the bottom of the screen. Authorities say a man attacked a flight attendant and tried to open the plane's emergency door in California, and it was all caught on camera. A passenger on the United Airlines flight from Los Angeles to Boston recorded this video of a man threatening to kill people Sunday. Authorities say the man, identified as Francisco Severo Torres, repeatedly stabbed a flight attendant in the neck with a broken spoon and tried to open the plane's emergency door. Check out the video. Torres was zip-tied on the flight and arrested after it landed. Torres told investigators he attacked the flight attendant because he believed they were trying to kill him. He also said he wanted to jump out of the plane. Torres has been charged with 1 count of interference and attempted interference with flight crew members and attendants using a dangerous weapon. He is set to appear in court next week. The incident on that plane is another example of terrifying incidents aboard U.S. airliners lately. There have been several occurrences on airplanes that is shining a spotlight on aviation safety. On Monday, passengers started screaming as smoke filled the cabin aboard a Southwest Airlines flight from Havana to Fort Lauderdale. Southwest says the plane hit several birds shortly after takeoff, causing one of the engines to start smoking. The plane was forced to land and passengers evacuated. On Friday, a private business jet traveling from New Hampshire to Northern Virginia experienced severe turbulence. A woman on board was killed. A few days before that, a Lufthansa jumbo jet flying from Austin, Texas to Frankfurt, Germany, experienced turbulence so serious that the plane had to divert to Washington Dulles Airport. 7 people were taken to the hospital. And there were even close calls on the ground. The wing of one United Airlines plane struck the tail of another as it was pushing back from the gate today at Boston Logan Airport. Experts say this incident and other recent runway near misses are indications of an overloaded system. Both the NTSB and FBI are investigating what happened on that private jet where the woman was killed. So far, neither agency nor the FAA has commented further on the incident. China has a new foreign minister, and he is already issuing a warning to the U.S. Qin Gang warned that conflict and confrontation with the U.S. is inevitable if Washington, D.C. does not change course on its policies. Qin Gang warned and suggested that the recent balloon crisis could have been avoided. He also echoed accusations from the Chinese president, saying the U.S. is trying to contain China's development. The relationship between the two countries is at its worst in decades. The U.S. claims it seeks to compete with China, but does not seek conflict. It's been 26 months since rioters attacked the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. And prosecutors have reached a new milestone. The Justice Department released new numbers detailing the arrests, charges, convictions, and property damage from that violent day. Authorities have arrested about 1,000 people from nearly all 50 states and the District of Columbia. More than 500 people charged have pleaded guilty to a host of federal crimes. However, the government is still investigating what happened and searching for people involved in the attack, like this woman. The FBI is searching for Olivia Pollock. Pollock is accused of being part of a group from Florida who coordinated an assault on police during the riots. Federal authorities issued an arrest warrant for her, but she disappeared before her trial. The latest Scream movie creeps into theaters this week. Scream 6 finds Ghostface stalking their victims in New York City. The Fright Flick franchise has been scaring moviegoers since 1996. Scream 2 debuted in 1997 and Scream 3 in 2000. 11 years went by before Scream 4 hit theaters in 2011. And another 11 years would go by before the next franchise reboot, simply named Scream. It debuted last year in 2022. And that brings us to 2023 and Scream 6. Box office tracking company Exhibitor Relations is predicting Scream 6 could make $32 million when it opens this weekend. Will you be seeing it? Let us know. Surveillance video in North Carolina, California, and Minnesota captured amazing images of a police chase, car crash, and one terrifying near miss. Let's start in North Carolina. Watch as a speeding car nearly misses two children crossing the road to catch their school bus. Police say the driver ignored the bus stop's stop signs and flashing lights and barreled past, just missing the crossing kids. Shortly thereafter, county officials were able to identify the vehicle and arrest the driver, who they say already had a revoked license. In Southern California, cameras captured a shocking police chase that turned into a rolling shootout. Police say a carjacking suspect led them on a high-speed chase across several counties. At one point, the driver leaned out the window and opened fire on officers with an assault-style rifle. The suspect eventually lost control and crashed the stolen truck. He jumped out and tried to run, but he was chased down, tackled, and arrested. And then in Minnesota, a police chase ended in dramatic fashion. Two teens in an alleged stolen vehicle drove off a bridge, went airborne, and crashed into the ground below. Both teams tried to flee on foot, but were eventually arrested. Amazingly, in all three incidents, no one was seriously hurt. This 8-foot alligator was stolen as an egg from the Animal World and Snake Farm Zoo in Texas nearly 20 years ago. Texas parks and wildlife officials just discovered the gator living illegally as a pet in a home near Austin last week. A former zoo volunteer who was working there has admitted to being responsible for taking the alligator egg. She raised it from a hatchling, but the alligator simply grew too big and she was unable to meet the requirements to obtain the proper permits to keep the alligator. Now the large reptile is back to where he was hatched, where he can live in comfort the rest of his life. The woman is now being charged and fined. Texas wildlife officials want to use this story to remind the public that, quote, alligators don't make good pets, y'all. Sign1News will be broadcasting updates Monday through Friday. A big thank you to our Sign1News app supporters. You help make this broadcast happen. You can download the Sign1News app by heading to the App Store or Google Play Store on your smartphone. And you can also watch on Apple TV, Amazon, and Roku. Have a great day.